MSME एक्सपो एक तरह का मंदिर है जहाँ पर सरस्वती, लक्ष्मी, विश्वकर्मा देवता, सभी देवी देवताओं का निवास है। आज हमारा जो टॉपिक है चक्र से चंद्रयान, इसमें आप ऐसे ऐसे स्पीकर्स को सुनेंगे जिससे आपको पूरे भारतवर्ष के सारे उद्यमों का आपको एक छवि मिलेगी। तो आप कृपया अपने और भी जो भाई बंधु हैं जो अटेंड करना चाहते हैं उनको बुला लें, क्योंकि ऐसा सेशन बार बार सुनने नहीं मिलेगा। आज यहाँ पर एक बहुत बड़ा यज्ञ भी होने वाला है। जिस तरह दुर्गा माँ को बहुत तरह की शक्तियों से एम्पावर किया गया था, आज हमारे बीच एक MOU साइन होने वाला है स्वदेशी जागरण मंच और MSME डेवलपमेंट फोरम के बीच। तो आप सबको इसका विटनेस बनके, साक्षी बनकर यहाँ पर मौजूद रहना है। इस महान कार्य को अंजाम मिलेगा आज इसी मंच पर। तो आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है। मैं धन्यवाद देती हूँ हमारे इवेंट पार्टनर्स का, KTPO, IATO, SBI, अमूल, बनस डेयरी, MKM क्रिएशंस, पंजाब केसरी, हमारे मीडिया पार्टनर्स, हमारे पार्टनर स्टेट्स जम्मू कश्मीर, मध्य प्रदेश, इन सभी के सहयोग के बिना ये MSME एक्सपो होना पॉसिबल नहीं था। मैं अश्विनी महाजन जी का शुक्रिया अदा करती हूँ कि वो आज हमारे बीच में पधारे हैं। उनका यहाँ पर होना, उनकी उपस्थिति इस बात की सूचक है कि वह किस तरह MSME के उत्थान के प्रति कटिबद्ध हैं। मैं आप सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत करती हूँ। आप इसी तरह हमारे संग जुड़े रहिए, जिससे हम सब मिलकर MSME को इतना, जो रीढ़ की हड्डी है भारतवर्ष की, उसको इतना स्ट्रॉन्ग कर दें कि भारत विश्वगुरु के रूप में पूरे विश्व में फहराए।
मैं दीपक शर्मा जी से अनुरोध करूंगा कि कृपया स्टेज पर आएं। एक बार सभी का तालियों से जोरदार स्वागत। हर दिन की शुरुआत जब तक भगवान का नाम लेके ना हो, सो हम शुरुआत करते हैं लैंप लाइटिंग से। सारे आदरणीय गण का, and can I also request His Excellency Embassy of Vietnam to please join us for the lamp lighting, and Dr. Gaurav Gupta to please join us for the lamp lighting, please.
गणाध्यक्षाय धीमहि गुणशरीराय गुणमण्डिताय गुणेशानाय धीमहि गुणातीताय गुणाधीशाय गुणप्रविष्टाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि एकदन्ताय वक्रतुण्डाय गौरीतनयाय धीमहि गजेशानाय भालचन्द्राय श्रीगणेशाय धीमहि। गानचतुराय गानप्राणाय गानान्तरात्मने गानोत्सुकाय गानमत्ताय गानोत्सुकमनसे गुरुपूजिताय गुरुदैवताय गुरुकुलस्थायिने गुरुविक्रमाय गुह्यप्रवराय गुरवे गुणगुरवे गुरुदैत्यकलक्षेत्रे गुरुधर्मसदाराध्याय गुरुपुत्र परित्रात्रे गुरुपाखण्डखण्डकाय गीतसाराय गीततत्त्वाय गीतगोत्राय धीमहि गूढगुल्फाय गन्धमत्ताय गोजयप्रदाय धीमहि।
Can I request His Excellency to please join us on stage? Embassy of Vietnam to please join us on stage.
सभी का बहुत बहुत स्वागत है और हम आज के सेशन के प्रति बढ़ते हैं आगे। तो सबसे पहले वेलकम की श्रृंखला में मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी हिज एक्सीलेंसी का स्वागत करेंगे हमारे चेयरमैन रजनीश गोयनका जी। हिज एक्सीलेंसी मिस्टर बुई ट्रोंग थोंग, उनका स्वागत करेंगे हमारे चेयरमैन साहब।
एंड डॉक्टर शरद कोहली जी से
और
रिक्वेस्ट
डॉक्टर
करूंगा।
शरद कोहली से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि आप प्लीज साथ में ज्वाइन करें। हमारे बीच उपस्थित अश्विनी महाजन जी का स्वागत करने के लिए रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी हमारे चेयरमैन साहब और शरद कोहली जी को कि वो उनका स्वागत करें।
डॉक्टर अश्विनी महाजन देश के जाने माने अर्थशास्त्री हैं। आपकी लिखी हुई पुस्तकें अर्थशास्त्र के विद्यार्थी पढ़ते हैं। आप स्वदेशी जागरण मंच के अखिल भारतीय सह संयोजक नेशनल को कन्वीनर हैं। डॉक्टर अश्विनी महाजन सर।
अनिल कुमार भारद्वाज, डायरेक्टर जनरल ट्राई, वो हमारे बीच मौजूद हैं। मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी हमारे दिल्ली चैप्टर के कैलाश गुप्ता जी और अशोक गुप्ता जी सब ज्वाइन करें स्टेज पर उनको ऑनर करने के लिए।
संजय गुप्ता
संजय
जी।
जी,
Can I request Dr. Gaurav Gupta to also join us on stage? And welcome Shri Anil Kumar Bhardwaj, Director General, TRAI. Try. Shri Anil Kumar Bhardwaj ji.
हमारे बीच मौजूद है रघुनंदन जी, उनका भी हम बहुत बहुत तहे दिल से स्वागत करते हैं। वे सेक्रेटरी हैं ट्राई के और हमारे बीच उनकी मौजूदगी इस बात की परिचायक है कि वे लोग सब MSMEs के प्रति कटिबद्ध हैं। उनका हम बहुत बहुत स्वागत करते हैं।
मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगा गोयनका सर से प्लीज वहीं पे रहें। शरद जी प्लीज वहीं पे रहें। कृपया स्वागत करते हैं एक बार जोरदार तालियों से दीपक शर्मा जी का, स्वदेशी जागरण मंच के ऑल इंडिया बोर्ड के मेंबर, ऑफिशियल ऑफिस बेरर और बहुत ही एक्टिव ऑफिस बेरर श्री दीपक शर्मा जी, एक बार जोरदार तालियों से स्वागत।
हमारे
हमारे बीच में श्री रघुनंदन जी जो हैं, ट्राई के जो सेक्रेटरी हैं, इज ए वेरी सीनियर IAS ऑफिसर, मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ टेलीकम्युनिकेशन से हैं। और श्री अनिल कुमार भारद्वाज जी जो डायरेक्टर जनरल ट्राई हैं, वो भी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ कम्युनिकेशन से हैं। तो आज जो हम टेक्नोलॉजी की और कम्युनिकेशन की बात करते हैं, आज हमने अपने इस कार्यक्रम में हमारे ये कम्युनिकेशन सिस्टम के ऊपर हमारे दोनों अधिकारी आपको विस्तार से चर्चा करेंगे और हम इसका MSME डेवलपमेंट फोरम की ओर से इनका हार्दिक अभिनंदन करते हैं।
मैं आपको बता दूं आज का जो टॉपिक है चक्र से चंद्रयान, इसको मॉडरेट करने के लिए डॉक्टर शरद कोहली से बेटर और कौन हो सकता है, जो एक जाने माने इकोनॉमिस्ट हैं और हमारे MSME डेवलपमेंट फोरम के नेशनल बोर्ड मेंबर हैं। तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी डॉक्टर शरद कोहली से कि वो इस सेशन को मॉडरेट करें और आप सभी भाई बहनों से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि आप YouTube लाइव को ज़रूर सबको बताएं कि YouTube लाइव पे ये वीडियो चल रहा है। MSME डेवलपमेंट फोरम का वेबसाइट पे भी लाइव चल रहा है और आपके थ्रू, मीडिया के माध्यम के थ्रू लाखों लोगों तक ये बात पहुंचे, क्योंकि हमारे MSMEs को ये सारी जागरूकता बहुत ज़रूरी है कि सरकार में क्या क्या स्कीम्स हैं उनके लिए। कम्युनिकेशन, डिजिटलाइजेशन, ये सब आज के ज़माने में बहुत ज़्यादा इम्पॉर्टेंट है और आपके माध्यम से ये बात अगर सभी भाइयों बहनों तक पहुंचेगी तभी हमारा आज का ये सारा जो यज्ञ है वो संपूर्ण होगा और उसमें 4 चांद लगेंगे। तो मैं अब रिक्वेस्ट करती हूँ शरद भैया से कि वो प्लीज़ टेक ओवर करें।
Good morning, Pragya, and good morning to all the delegates present here, to all the honorable people present on the dais. Pragya, मैं आपकी बात में जोड़ना चाहूँगा, लाखों नहीं करोड़ों लोगों तक ये मैसेज पहुँचना चाहिए। 12 करोड़ में से 5 परिवार के लोग, हम माने तो 60 करोड़ लोग MSME से जुड़े हुए हैं, तो हमें इसको, लाखों की बात तो पुरानी हो गई, अब तो करोड़ों की बात होती है। Anyway, so it was wonderful to have you again today back in the hall. Third day of the MSME Havan, MSME Yagya, MSME Kumbh, whatever you want to call it. आज तीसरा और अंतिम दिन, और मैं समझता हूँ जिन्होंने पिछले 2 दिन में पार्ट लिया है, जिन्होंने 2 दिन यहाँ पर रहे हैं, जितने भी यहाँ पर मुद्दे डिस्कस किए गए, उन सब में कुछ ना कुछ टेक अवे था और मैं उसको बोलता हूँ कि लाइफ चेंजिंग टेक अवेज थे। और ये डिपेंड करता है कि आप लोग कितना समय उस पर दे पाए, पर आज का अभी बहुत यूज़फुल सेशन रहने वाला है। तो मेरी सबको सलाह ये है, जो लोग स्टॉल्स पर भी, अपने स्टॉल का भी ध्यान रखना है, बट यू गाइस शुड ट्राई एंड स्पेयर एज मच टाइम एज यू कैन, बिकॉज जो मैंने कल बात कही थी मैं दोहराना चाहूँगा कि आपको जो महानुभाव यहाँ मंच पर आते हैं बारी बारी करके, गोयनका साहब के तो हैं ही हैं, वो आपको उनसे ना तो अक्सर मिलने को मिलेगा और ना अगर मिल भी गए तो हाय हेलो या सेल्फी से ज़्यादा बात करने को नहीं मिलेगा, और अगर वो भी हो गया तो कम से कम उनके विचार सुनने को तो नहीं मिलेंगे। तो इसलिए मेरी आपको सलाह है कि तो सबकी अपनी अपनी व्यस्तता है, हालांकि मीडिया के माध्यम से ये कार्यक्रम दूर दूर तक जा रहा है, अलग अलग मीडिया हाउसेस, मीडिया प्लेटफॉर्म्स इसको कवर कर रहे हैं, चाहे वो हिंदी के हो, चाहे इंग्लिश के हो, चाहे वो स्टेट लैंग्वेजेस में हो, they are trying to cover this. So the message is you should try and make the best out of the session. बहुत मेहनत लगी है इसको, इस मंच को सजाने में, इसके पीछे जिन लोगों ने काम किया है आप उनसे पूछिए उन्होंने कितनी मेहनत करी है ये सारा आप तक लाने के लिए। तो आपको, जिसको स्टॉल नहीं है, जिसको फ्री ऑफ कॉस्ट मिल रहा है, मुझे लग रहा है उसको पूरा लाभ उठाना चाहिए। कई बार फ्री की चीज़ की उतनी कीमत नहीं होती है, पर मेरी सलाह यही है, कई बार फ्री की चीज़ भी बहुत काम की होती है, तो you should try and make the best use. So we have with us today a very enlightening panel here on the dais. At the outset, because His Excellency, the Trade Commissioner of Vietnam has to leave, so I'll want to invite, he's from Vietnam, a country not too far from ours, with a population of about 10 crore people. I converted to crores. He is His Excellency Bui Trung Thong. He's the trade counselor for Vietnam. बहुत young है. He is, in fact, when I just met him, I thought probably somebody is out from college. But I came to know that he's already been in the position for the last 10 years. He looks so young. And Mr. Tong, correct me if I'm wrong, after the, the decoupling from China, the China +1 policy, Vietnam, India, Indonesia, Bangladesh, these are some of the countries who've been beneficiaries of the China +1 policy. There are a lot of countries which are uprooting themselves from China. And I think Vietnam is coming up as a very good alternate to them. Correct me if I'm wrong, I'm sure we'd like to hear you. But what we would want to know from you is that we have 120 million MSMEs in our country, which is more than the population of your country. So what is the situation of MSMEs, or you call them SMEs probably, small and medium enterprises. What is the position of SMEs in your country? And what steps are your country taking, or your country is taking to make sure that these enterprises grow? And then my final question would be, which I would like you to focus in whatever time you can spare, is that is there a genuine effort for Vietnamese small businesses to integrate with the Indian small businesses? Can Indian small businesses go and set up in Vietnam and vice versa? So I would want you to focus on these three. So I would hand over the mic to you. You have a choice, Mr. Thuong. Either you can speak from here. I'm giving you three choices. You can speak from here, you can speak from the podium, or you can walk around the dais and speak. So the choice is totally yours. Please choose yourself. Yeah.
Namaskar. Very good morning to you all. Yeah, Mr. Chairman and Dr. Saras, colleague, on Excellency on the dais and off the dais. Very good morning to you all again. Actually, today I'm very great pleasure to be here with you, and also thank you much, Dr. Sarat. I just briefed to you only three messages, but all of our message already convey excellent to the audience today. So I thank you so very much. So many of you know about Vietnam. Actually, we are not big, but we are not also very small country. Dr. Sarat already said that our population, you can say 10 crore. It means that hundreds million. And in terms of geography, we are very, very close together. Even during the history, Vietnam and India, we have the links more than 2,000 years back when, Buddha, Siddhartha Gautama, who spread the Buddhist to Southeast Asia and into Vietnam also. So I could like, give me 5 minutes, so I would like share some messages. Number one, I would like to talk brief about the India and Vietnam relation, and I also talk number two, I'm talking about little about our economy, and number three, I come back to the question, so how MSME contribute to our GDP and our economy. Ladies and gentlemen, as about Vietnam, many of you are aware that we are located in Southeast Asia. It's not very far from India, so you can see that we have direct flight from Delhi to either Hanoi or Ho Chi Minh City, and from other mega city like Bangalore, like Mumbai or Ahmedabad or Kolkata to Vietnam. So why we are very, very close together? Because it takes us only 4 hours from Delhi to Hanoi, or 4 hours 50 minutes from Delhi to Ho Chi Minh City, and more shorter if you travel from Kolkata. From Kolkata to Hanoi, only 2 hours 15 minutes, similar to only Kolkata to many other parts of India. And since 2019, we have direct flight operated by Indigo from Indian side, and from Vietnamese side, we have national carrier Vietnam Airlines, and also private carrier Vietjet. Now we have more than 50 direct flight per week, so it's very, very convenient for you. And another term that the rate, the airfare also affordable. You can see maybe something is cheaper when you travel to intern in India. And now about Vietnam economy. For last year, our economic growth more than 8%. Now, the total number of our GDP was 450 billion US dollar. And Vietnam, we are quite open country. We have FTA with, we have 15 FTA, free trade agreement with almost more than 60 countries all over the world. We have FTA with European, and we have between India and Vietnam. So far we don't have direct, don't have bilateral free trade agreement, but under the ASEAN country, Vietnam one of ASEAN members. So between India and ASEAN we have free trade agreement. Now coming to the third question, you just said that how important of MSME to our economy. As Dr. Sarat just said that our population of 100 million people, and in Vietnam we have around 1 million company enterprise who are now operating in Vietnam. But you see, out of that, 98% are MSME. So yeah, only 2% are larger than MSME. And MSME sector contribute more than 80% of our GDP. So last year our GDP was 450 billion. So you can say that MSME contribute around 400 billion US dollar to our GDP. So because MSME is very, very important to our economy, so our government will also have some incentive to encourage the small and medium enterprise to generate the business and also encourage them to employ more on the worker and people. So the last point I would like to share with you, so how Vietnamese MSME and Indian MSME can work together. I also came to know that MSME in India also very important sector. In India we have one ministry who handle MSME. In Vietnam we don't have such kind of ministry, but through many other ministries, so we support MSME sector. So in my view, after, with our experience of more than 10 years, 1 decade in India, so I have seen that a lot of potential or opportunity where Indian and MSME and Vietnamese MSME can work together. So I would like to identify the 3 sectors. The number one in textile sector, where we can create the job for many people, even in the rural area or the women, especially for the women. So I think that in the textile sector, we can work together. Every year in Vietnam, we export around 45 billion US dollar. But out of that, we import more than 35 billion of raw material, and mostly come from many other parts of the world. But we have seen that India can contribute a lot from there. And number 2, in agriculture product. So as you know that India and Vietnam, we are also agriculture-based country. Before, more than 80% of our population living in rural area, and agriculture sector, we employ more than 70% of our workforce. So now a little change, because now we, like India, we are urbanization. So many of people who are staying in rural, they go to the big city. And number 3, I think that maybe in other sector like handicraft or furniture. Yeah, Mr. Chairman said, just told me that in furniture sector, before Indian tie up a lot with China, but Dr. Sarat just told me that because of the trade war between US and the China, and during COVID-19 pandemic, we realized that we not depend on 1 or 2 suppliers. We should decoupling to other the country, and India, Vietnam, and Indonesia, and some other who can be the China plus 1 policy. So I think a lot of opportunities there, but how can we work together? So I also would like to hear from you. Mr. Chairman and Dr. Sarat and on Dimitri, because I have another meeting, so maybe after my speech, I spend some more time here and I take permission to leave. So thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
शरद जी,
Vietnam is very hot now in India. One of my very close friends group, we are going to, for tourism, we are going to Vietnam. My wife actually is fighting with me because I was to go to New York. She said, no, I want to go to Vietnam. I have not seen. And, very, not only culturally and, very close to our culture and tradition. Now, business-wise also, it's very important for us. I know few businesses, lot of material can come from Vietnam to India where we can be catalyst. And lot of our SMEs and MSMEs, they are willing to connect because after China, whatsoever reason, lot of our Indians are finding alternatives. As Dr. Sharad has rightly said, Vietnam image is much higher than Chinese products. Thailand and Vietnam, their reputation is very good. Their products are, quality is very good. I was seeing, he was visiting one of the booth here. He was able to assess the quality and, he talked about those things. So, sir, we will like to partner with you as a forum. We are a selfless, non-profit, non-political organization trying to serve, connect our SMEs with the global SMEs. Sometimes your people, they are simple. SMEs are very simple. They don't know how to get the visa, how the language problem, to whom to connect, how to connect. So we'll take your embassy's help, we'll take Indian embassy's help. Wherever we do, we have already opened 21 chapters all over the globe. We'll like to open one in Vietnam, and and we are not only doing business. SMEs and forum is connecting socio-cultural connect, because my people, when they go to Vietnam, they will try to go to Angkor Wat is there, yeah. Cambodia has the, so we are culturally connected thousands of years. Now our people want to explore, earlier they had been going to Europe, America, now they want to explore other places. So Vietnam is very hot today, and if your tourism department or whatever, and you are already Trade Commissioner, His Excellency, you connect with us and we will benefit. We are not looking, our culture, our country is not looking one-way traffic. We don't want to take your benefit. Our culture teaches us, share it. Vasudev Kutumbakam. My religion, my culture says the whole world is one family. G20, that's our slogan. So since you have come here, you have honored us, you have created, because there must be 300 odd embassies in India. But we are not able to reach everywhere. Since you have honored by coming to us, we are connected with you, and we will certainly see that trade grows with your and our association. Thank you.
So, sir, since His Excellency will have to leave, he will have to take permission to facilitate him. Yes. So I would request you to please come and give him the memento. Let's join hands in giving a great honor to the Embassy of Vietnam to open trade ties with India. And soon you will see a chapter in Vietnam also So our presence will be also in तो ये तो सर्वविदित है कि जब भी कोई अच्छे कार्य की शुरुआत होती है तो पूरी कायनात उस अच्छे कार्य को पूरा करने में जुट जाती है। तो आज वियतनाम की एम्बेसी से ये जो संदेश आया है कि हम भी आपके संग जुड़ना चाहते हैं, आप हमें बताइए कि किस तरह हम लोग ट्रेड बिटवीन वियतनाम और भारतवर्ष को किस तरह और स्ट्रॉन्ग कर सकते हैं। इस बात की परिचायक है कि भारत सही में विश्व गुरु है, जिससे सब जुड़कर अपना उत्थान करना चाहते हैं। और अब हम कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाते हैं। मैं डॉक्टर शरद कोहली से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि वे कार्यक्रम को आगे बढ़ाएं। We also recognize the presence of Mr. P.D. Sharma and would request him to join us on stage. सर, आप कृपया मंच पर आएं और हमें अनुग्रहित करें। और मैं भाई साहब से रिक्वेस्ट करूंगी कि उनका स्वागत करें।
Well, good afternoon once again. And I hope you all have your cup of coffee and tea right inside you, which has pepped you up. I can still see the queue at the coffee stall. कॉफ़ी पीते रहें, चाय पीते रहें, पर अपना ध्यान इधर ही रखें कि जैसा कि मैंने बताया कि कोई एक छोटी सी बात भी आपका जीवन बदल सकती है. So the topic of today is innovation, technology and MSMEs. And we are very fortunate कि हमारे साथ आज टेलीकॉम रेगुलेटरी अथॉरिटी ऑफ इंडिया TRAI, जो लोग नहीं जानते उनकी जानकारी के लिए, आपके जो टेलीकॉम संबंधित जितनी भी सेवाएं आप लेते हैं, whatever services you avail, they are regulated by Telecom Regulatory Authority of India. और हमारे साथ अनिल कुमार भारद्वाज जी हैं, उनके जो टेलीकॉम रेगुलेटरी के अथॉरिटी के कर्ता धर्ता जो रेगुलेट करते हैं. और आई थिंक नॉट मेनी पीपल नो दैट TRAI, apart from being a regulator, also plays the role of being a recommending agency. It recommends on technology, recommends on MSMEs, recommends on innovations to government and various agencies. और अनिल जी से हम एक सवाल तो सबके बिहाफ पे मैं अनिल जी पूछूंगा ही पूछूंगा. वो जो कॉल आती हैं, नमस्कार, हम ABC बैंक के बिहाफ पे बोल रहे हैं, आपको लोन लेना है, तो इनसे हमारी जान कब छूटेगी, वो सवाल तो पूछेंगे ही पूछेंगे. पर उससे पहले जो लोगों को इरिटेट करती है, लोग परेशान हो चुके हैं, लोन ले लीजिए, क्रेडिट कार्ड ले लीजिए, ये प्रॉपर्टी ले लीजिए, पता नहीं क्या क्या, चांद बेचना रह गया, बाकी सब कुछ वो लोग फोन पे बेचते हैं. तो वो तो हम आपसे बाद में पूछेंगे. बट यू नो, टू स्टार्ट विथ, आई वुड वांट यू टू थ्रो लाइट ऑन what recommendations do you provide from MSMEs? Mr. Bhardwaj, we have, if you Google it out, we've got about 6.7 crore MSMEs in this country. But the fact of the matter is, sometimes Google Baba can go wrong. असल में MSMEs हमारे देश में 12 करोड़ हैं. पता नहीं Google Baba ने कहाँ से वो डेटा निकाला है और क्या कितना ट्रस्टवर्दी है या नहीं है. यहीं Google Baba को गलत सिद्ध करने का भी मौका मिलता है कभी कभी. इतनी बड़ी तादाद में MSMEs और TRAI तो इंडिया में एक ही है. So what kind of recommendations do you provide and how are these recommendations? या मैंने करता धरता बोल दिया सर. मेरे ख्याल मैं डेजिग्नेशन के बजाय मुझे लगता है कि हिंदी का टर्म, मुझे सुधीर जी बता रहे हैं कि वो डायरेक्टर जनरल हैं. मेरे करता धरता तो हम मोदी जी को करता धरता कह देते हैं, तो आप इस देश का तो मेरे ख्याल प्रधानमंत्री कहने से ज्यादा बेटर है. Yeah, I know that, sir. I am very much aware. Thank you. So, when will, what is the reach of TRI, first of all, and what kind of recommendations and role do you play? So, would you like to use the podium? Or okay, fine, please. But we might have questions in between, so you're okay. I might interrupt you, sir. I hope you're okay with that.
First of all, thank you, Dr. Kohli, Mr. Sharad Kohli, for this starting point. But before, before I answer you, respected Mr. Goenka, Ashwini Mahajan ji, Deepak Sharma ji, my service senior Mr. V. Raghunandan and Secretary TRAI, PD Sharma ji sir से अभी बहुत परिचय नहीं हुआ है. मेरे कॉलेज सीनियर, मेरे वरिष्ठ अग्रज एस.के. मिश्रा साहब और संजय गुप्ता जी, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल थैंक यू वेरी मच फॉर कॉलिंग मी हेयर. मैं उस सवाल का जवाब भी दूंगा सर जो कॉल आती है, और आप कह रहे थे चांद पे नहीं, तो इंशाअल्लाह 23 अगस्त हो जाने दीजिए, हम उन कॉल्स में आपको चांद पे भी प्लॉट दिलवाएंगे सर. बट कमिंग टू द मेन टॉपिक, व्हाई आई एम हेयर on this long weekend, to this very respected audience. See, you all have heard of that we are deploying 5G. In fact, India is now one of the fastest growing 5G network or telecom country, with more than 300,000 5G sites already live, and almost 30% of our user base, which is close to 120 crore today, is on 5G. And हम लोग जो कॉल एक दूसरे को करते हैं वो पिछले 5 साल से कॉल ना रह के डाटा हो चुकी है. हम लोगों को लगता है अभी हम बात कर रहे हैं, बट वो सारा कम्युनिकेशन डाटा कम्युनिकेशन में कन्वर्ट हो चुका है. और 5G उसके बियॉन्ड बहुत कुछ आपने शब्द सुने होंगे, यहाँ पैनल में बैठने से पहले भी हम बात कर रहे थे, ब्लॉकचेन, डिजिटल लेजर टेक्नोलॉजी, AI, इंटरनेट ऑफ थिंग्स. ये शब्द वी ऑल हैव हर्ड, राइट? ऑल ऑफ अस हैव हर्ड दीज वर्ड्स. So how these words can actually connect with us, which is MSME? Even this, that how many MSME we have, and if Google Baba is wrong, that means something is wrong in the way the data is being prepared, presented or recorded in our country. And that's where these new age communication technologies can help. And at TRAI, when we are sending recommendations to the government, one of the biggest concern for last 2 years we have is the inclusion and exclusion. Today, sir, we are living in an era that if you are not into the technology, then actually you go out of the whole developmental matrix. And there is a great risk of exclusion. Today, if you are not digitally included, then you are excluded from growth, then you are excluded from profits, then you will be excluded from business. And that is the biggest risk all of us, these 12 crores MSME, or these MSMEs for India are, growth engine of our GDP, are 30% of GDP or 45% of manufacturing comes from this MSME sector, and we want to grow it. And that is the concern we at TRAI has. And that is why one is here amongst you, that this technology, the big corporation, whether we talk of the imbibing of Industry 4.0, I don't know how many of us have heard the term, but maybe many of us have heard but not understood. Industry 4.0 is all about a connected industry where end to end, everything, every data point, every quality input is processed, analyzed, and then sent back for a better product loop. Now, my MSMEs do not have the capability to invest. All large corporations, you talk of Maruti's, Telcos, Nokia's, Foxconn of this world are already adopting Industry 4.0. Nokia in their Chennai plant, I was lucky to be there 2 weeks back, have already deployed Industry 4.0 and have been able to reduce their, failures to 0.001%. Okay. Now, can my MSME afford to deploy these kind of technologies? Answer is no. We do not have money. We do not have technological understanding, nor we have consultants and advisors who are willing to come and take the pain and deploy that for me, because it doesn't make the business case for them. Because even if I deploy everything, the total ticket size of deployment is so small that that consultant will not take the pain to come to us. And that is where, forums like MSME Forum or Laghu Udyog Bharati or Swadeshi Jagran Manch have to come, because what we Indians know for best, that we know how to collaborate, how to work together, how to improve better. And I have been born and brought up in Faridabad, and I know MSMEs, with one SMC VMC machine, we are able to produce a product, because I know from where to source the raw material, from where to get the turning done, from where the final finishing or buffing will happen. All that is collaboration, and finally, 20 companies together produce maybe one component for which goes into Maruti's and Mahindra XUVs. This is what I have seen in Faridabad. So they all gel together, they work together, and while Japanese may talk of, just-in-time inventory, our MSME no, उनको पता है वहाँ पे कल बन के पीस मेरे पास आएंगे, आज मेरे यहाँ 24 घंटे का processing time and it will go to the next thing, and they are actually different businesses. So we know how to collaborate better. But what we need is, we need a common platform, and that is the very purpose. We have told Ministry of MSME in writing that please enable creation of these common platforms, make use of forums or industry associations, give them grants to provide that common consultancy, that how our MSME can then together reach that economy of scale in terms of being able to buy and deploy those Industry 4.0 solutions, those sensors, that end-to-end process mechanism, which helps, which is now easily available thanks to 5G. Prior to that, we all had to deploy cables to connect machines to each other, to connect, my store inventory to each other. Now, you just deploy one wireless access point and you are able to connect the whole industry together. And with IoT sensors, all machines can start talking to each other. Whatever I am talking, it may sound, kuch aur technology bol raha, but all that is reality today. And if we do not adopt, we will not be able to get that kind of efficiency which is needed to survive in this world, which is needed to compete with China or Vietnam's of the world. And that is the whole purpose of me coming here. I am parking the question of calls, sir. This is where I end, but thank you very much. My request is, please understand that we have to adopt these technologies to not only survive, to not only grow, but also to survive. And
Anil ji, मैं थोड़ा सा interrupt कर रहा हूँ. आपने जो, what you said just now, you are absolutely spot on, that without the technology, you will be left behind. But in the MSME that we have, most of them are sitting here also, and the message is reaching through the media. उस MSME एक यूनिट में दो तरीके के लोग हैं. एक तो वो हैं जो पिछली जनरेशन से हैं, जिन्होंने मोबाइल की एप्लीकेशंस भी अपने पोते से, बेटे से सीखी हैं. ये पेटीएम करना और इलेक्ट्रॉनिक पेमेंट्स करना वो सीख लिया है, व्हाट्सएप चलाना, यूट्यूब देखना, फेसबुक चेक करना. एक उनकी अगली जनरेशन है विच इज़ वेरी अप टू डेट, उनको सब पता है. बट जो कमान है, the control is still in the hands, Anil ji, in the hands of people who are still away from artificial intelligence, who are still away from Internet of Things, who are still away from those modern technological applications which can take your business to the next level. So, what is the shortest way to bridge this gap? Because they are the people who are driving the business. और कुछ एक के तो अनिल जी मैं आपको जानकारी देना चाहूँगा, अगली generation उस business में जुड़ी भी नहीं है. They have gone into a job, they've gone to America, they're probably working somewhere or whatever. So how to, is there any shortcut where this generation can catch up with those applications जिनका आप जिक्र कर रहे हैं?
हाँ, so my answer to all this is, and there is a gap, and I agree, this is what I said and this is what you have repeated in the question. So that is where, government is trying multiple things, different ministries are trying multiple things, and this is what we have said, whether it is the skill development, and we have, people who are working on those issues sitting on the dais. There are programs which are available, which are willing to develop these skills. There are agencies like MSME has their own agencies which are supporting adoption of such programs and even willing to finance the expense on such technologies to the tune of 30, 40, 50% through viability gap funding. So that is where the role of associations and forums becomes very, very important. Because as a forum, the reach and the connect which Kailash Gupta ji or Rajneesh Goenka Saab or Sanjay ji has with the industry, and they become the connection which brings it back to the ministry. See, I have 100 people who are willing to listen. Please, can you come and explain the program? So those are the recommendations which TRAI gave last year, that digital inclusion is need of the hour, and we have written specifically on our 5G recommendation that MSME ministry must create a fund to create programs where education, digital education, what Industry 4.0 is, how people can benefit, and then how to give some grant, part gap funding for the investment on technology. And we are talking of not technology that your own capital machines, we are talking of technology which connects. Okay, so those are the things which we have already recommended, and we request the forums to take it forward. And we as TRAI are willing to bring the Ericssons and Nokias of the world at your doorstep to explain these things to you.
सर, जो जैसे मोदी जी भी कहते हैं मैं देश का सेवक हूँ, सर्वेंट हूँ, तो मैं भी चेयरमैन हूँ, मैं भी इस फोरम का एक चपड़ासी हूँ. हम लोग इतना बड़ा ये मेला जो सजाते हैं 6 महीने लग जाते हैं, तो इसमें हमारा स्वार्थ भी है. हम वैसे सेल्फलेसली नॉन प्रॉफिट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, नॉन पॉलिटिकल, इसके ऑर्गेनाइजर चाहे किसी पॉलिटिकल पार्टी से जुड़े हों, हर को जुड़ा है. आप भी हो सकते हैं इंडिविजुअली कहीं समर्थक हो मोदी जी के. तो मैं अपने स्वार्थ की बात आपसे करता हूँ. भाई हमने ये मेला जचाया, आप आए, हमने मंच पे आपको मान लीजिए मंच पे बिठाया, तो उसके एवज में हम आपसे कुछ मांग रहे हैं. क्या मांग रहे हैं? जो आपने अभी कहा, जो आप दे सकते हैं. ये चीज़ें अगर आप हमें कनेक्ट करें, सर, हमें ये जो आप कह रहे हो ना सरकार की जिम्मेवारी है, दे विल पे, दे विल डू, कुछ नहीं होता सर. यहाँ पर डंडा डुंडा फेर के कहीं से करवा लें, वो ऐसे समझते हैं जैसे बहुत बड़ा एहसान कर रहे हैं. तो सर, आपकी बात सुन के लगा कि आप जैसे अफसर भी बैठे हैं जो देश के लिए, युवाओं के लिए कुछ करने का मादा रखते हैं. तो आपसे हम एक माइक पे चाहेंगे कि सबके आगे आप बताएं कि आप हमें किस तरह से, हम सेवा करने के लिए तैयार हैं. सरकार के पास सब कुछ है सर, वो नीचे क्यों नहीं आता? आप जैसे अफसरों से हम निवेदन करते हैं कि आप हमारी सर्विसेज लें, और हमें तो इस टाइप के प्रोग्राम चाहिए, और अगर उसका खर्चा भी आप कर दें तो और ज़्यादा है. नहीं तो सर खर्च हम करेंगे. ये सारे जो आपके ये गुप्ता जी हैं, संजय गुप्ता हैं और हैं, इनकी जेब ढीली कराएंगे. हमने हमें थोड़ा जोड़ा इनको अपने साथ, पैसे वाले लोग हैं.
नहीं नहीं, नोटेड रजनीश जी। मैं इसका सिंपल उत्तर दूंगा। एक तो मतलब विदाउट बीइंग अ ब्यूरोक्रेट आई कैन नॉट से आई सपोर्ट एक्स और वाई। हमारे लिए मतलब हर सरकार बहुत बेहतर सरकार होती है और करंट सरकार तो कमाल की सरकार है। पर जो बदलाव, मेरे को सरकारी नौकरी में 30 साल हो गए, गवर्नमेंट में भी शनय शनय टाइम टू टाइम बहुत पॉजिटिव बदलाव है। स्कीम्स ऐसा नहीं है कि नहीं पहुंच रही हैं। इंसिडेंटली अगर मैं 20 साल पहले जाऊं तो फंड्स बड़े लिमिटेड होते थे। जिस चीज़ पे 1000 करोड़ की जरूरत होती थी, सरकार अलोकेट ही 100 करोड़ कर पाती थी, क्योंकि देश की इकोनॉमी छोटी थी। बाय द गुड वर्क ऑफ governments together and consistently, we are now sitting at good cash pile where we can send money directly to the accounts. We have sufficient funding. Thanks to the taxpayer, thanks to the good business happening in the country, our economy is growing. So money is now no longer a constraint with the government, which it used to be 10 years back or 15 years back. स्कीम्स आप बताएंगे तो बनेंगी सर। अब जैसे हमने टेलीकॉम में PLI स्कीम हमारी रिकमेंडेशन से बनी, इट इज़ अ वेरी गुड स्कीम, बट विद इन 1.5 year, next within 15 days we are going to give second set of recommendations. We have identified कि इस स्कीम से सिर्फ लार्ज कॉरपोरेशंस को फायदा हुआ है। तो अब हम स्पेसिफिक रिकमेंडेशंस भेज रहे हैं DOT को, सरकार को, उसमें कि MSME को कैसे PLI में हाउ टू क्रिएट दोज बेंचमार्क्स कि MSME इज एबल टू बेनिफिट फ्रॉम PLI। स्कीम तो सरकार को ही बनानी है, हमारा रिकमेंडेशन का रोल है, पार्लियामेंट ने हमें वही रोल दिया है। ये तो एक मेरा आंसर हुआ। दूसरा उत्तर आपने दिया, हमारी एज TRA सर कोशिश है कि हम पैसे संजय गुप्ता जी के या मिश्रा जी के या ये बड़े बड़े लोगों के ना खर्च करवाएं। 25 तारीख को रॉयल प्लाजा शायद अशोका रोड पे होटल है, मैं इनवाइट भेज दूंगा। हम लोग अपने खर्चे से MSME के लिए एक कार्यक्रम कर रहे हैं सर। FISME को हमने उसमें बोला है, इनवाइट किया है। आई इनवाइट योर मेंबर्स ऑल्सो, डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द सिटिंग कैपेसिटी वी हैव देयर। वी आर डूइंग सच सेमिनार्स, वी विल बी डूइंग 12 सच सेमिनार्स अक्रॉस द कंट्री। 4 दिल्ली में करेंगे, 4 बेंगलोर में करेंगे, 4 चेन्नई में करेंगे। तो TRA अपने विद इन the capability which we have, because our main role is regulation, our main role is not advisory or advocacy, but we are doing it. My senior Raghu sir is sitting, he has only 3 days back approved the budget for 12 seminars, so we are doing this work sir. Okay, I think with that should I take a seat?
नहीं, मैं बिल्कुल ठीक है जी, आप प्लीज टेक योर सीट।
25 तारीख सर,
25
यही 25 अगस्त को रॉयल प्लाजा में आप अपने कम से कम 25 रिप्रेजेंटेटिव्स को लेके आइए।
बिल्कुल लेके आएंगे। देखिए, थैंक यू
वेरी मच।
यू आर ऑलरेडी टेकिंग इनिशिएटिव्स एंड वी थैंक यू वेरी मच। मैं तो सिर्फ इतना है जी, अब जैसे अनुराग ठाकुर हैं, छोटा भाई है हमारा, कल आना था, पार्लियामेंट में फंसा हुआ था। हमने क्यों इनवाइट करते मंत्रियों को, ताकि मंत्री आए, हमारी पीड़ा सुने, हाँ जी, वो नीचे कहें। आपको इसलिए कहा कि देखिए हम पीड़ित समाज हैं, MSME पीड़ित समाज है। प्लीज टेक योर सीट, आइए। हाँ, तो भाई साहब, सेक्रेटरी साहब, हम लोग पीड़ित समाज हैं। 70 साल से हमारी पिटाई हुई है, हमें लेवल प्लेइंग फील्ड नहीं मिली। ये कॉरपोरेट्स ले गए बेनिफिट ऊपर ऊपर से, हमें नीचे मिलता नहीं है, सच बता रहा हूँ। और हमारी सरकार कर रही है, मैं ये नहीं कह रहा, पर सर 140 करोड़ में कितनों को मिलता है? हम प्रोग्राम करते हैं कि भैया किनको मुद्रा में लोन मिला, 200 लोग होते हैं, 10-5 खड़े होते हैं, मिला। फिर मैंने बैंक वालों को उनको बुलाया कि सर देखो 90% लोग करें नहीं मिला। कहते गोयनका जी जिनको मिला वो नहीं आते, जिनको नहीं मिला वो तो सर हम तो उन्हीं का रोना रोएंगे जिनको नहीं मिला। तो हमें बहुत अच्छा लगा कि आपने बताया कि ऑलरेडी आप अपने आप से SMEs के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। इसी करके मेरे को भी उत्साह हुआ कि मैं आपसे और मांग लूं। हाँ जी, अब सेक्रेटरी साहब आएंगे, बोलेंगे तो उनसे थोड़ा और मांग लेंगे।
So So since the Secretary of TRI, Mr. Raghunandan, is also here, so I think we'll take the benefit of your presence, sir. And I would, since Anil ji has already briefed on the agenda of TRAI with regard to recommendations on this thing, so I would want to move a little beyond that. When we talk of telecom operators, sir, in India, we have currently 2.5 operators, sir. I mean, वैसे तो 3 हैं, पर जो तीसरे हैं वो, you know, I am told it's not doing very well or whatever. So it's a near duopoly situation. So how is the government, sir, planning to tender? Because इससे हमारा MSME sector, ये सवाल हालांकि policy related सवाल हो जाता है, but MSME sector से सीधा सरोकार रखता है, क्योंकि MSME sector इन telecom operators के through, इनके जरिए और इनसे connect होके, there's a lot of business which happens through these operators. So, sir, are we heading for a duopoly, or is the government planning to open this field, or why are the new operators not coming, or they, you know, as a matter of policy, we're happy with these 2 to 3 operators going forward? Can we just make it in our mindset that, you know, we have to go with these 2, 3 operators? And do these operators open up opportunities for MSMEs also as a matter of policy? I mean, I'm not sure if you will be able to answer that question. So I would want your thoughts, sir. So you would like to answer from the podium or here? It's your choice.
Thank you.
It's working, sir.
It's working, no? P.D. Sharma Saab, Kohli Saab, then Rajneesh Saab, and Mr. Sanjay. वहीं पर आना है?
हाँ, वहीं आ जाइए, sir, so they can see you better, you know. I thought this was policy. We would be in a better position.
Good morning to all of you. Actually, I happened to be a just visitor for this program today. I thought that I've been very passionate to visit MSMEs, and then so some exhibitions are there. So then I thought that let me just continue to interact with at the ground level what is happening. So but now Anil has, my colleague Anil has told, and because of the associations he had with them, so they just requested me to come and then share few thoughts. So that is how I'm here, and thank you very much for giving me opportunity to speak on this. You have actually raised some complex questions, but I would definitely answer the way we are handling the whole, how the regulator is handling and how the government is handling. You must be aware that last year, based on earlier TRI recommendations and etc., government has taken 2021 September, if you see, quite a bit of reforms, telecom reforms, wherein actually the many levies have been reduced, like bank guarantees, etc., and then the SUC charges were reduced, mainly to see that the ease of doing business goes across, so that the many players will remain in the field. So that was a major step. It was not a small step. It was a major step. Of course, you may be saying that 2.5 players. Actually, it is not 2.5. It is 4 players are very well on footing. We believe that 4 players should be there in the. And not only 4 players, they are in the mobile field, 4 players are there. If you see the internet service providers, so TRI has given several recommendations earlier, and we are working on the recommendations. Last year, we have given a path-breaking recommendations on fixed line for the development of fixed line for the FTTH, etc. We had given recommendations that the levy of license fee should become 0 for them. So that was a path-breaking recommendation for 5 years for the fixed line. So fixed line means all small ISPs, VNOs, or whomsoever is there in the ecosystem. So that means we are not working for 2.5 or 3 operators. We are working for all the 4 operators for the mobile, and then we are also working on how to reduce further entry barriers to see that the further operators can come in. There may be 4 operators.
Sir, my 2.5 was very informally said, and you know where I was coming from.
And I am not reacting. I am not reacting, but I am just telling that how proactively we had taken steps. So just for understanding of all the audience, I am just telling that we have taken several steps. I just wanted to give the confidence to the people that we have taken several steps. We are working on that. It is not that we leave the situation as it is, as it stands today. And that is how we have worked on the smaller players, and then so that all the smaller players also will remain in the ecosystem. So the many ISPs are there. If you, for your kind information, there are about 400 plus active ISPs are there. Near about 900 are there. But there are some challenges for them. We are trying to address them. So that is about that. So it is not that telecom service can be provided. Mobile service can be provided by the 4 operators, I agree. But the internet service can be provided by many operators, small and bigger operators. That is one point of it. Then coming back to the questions about today's, sorry I am speaking in English. Maybe इतना सरल से मैं ना हिंदी में ना बात नहीं कर सकता हूँ, explain नहीं कर सकता हूँ, इसलिए मैं I am talking in English. So there are concerns expressed about the MSME sector. How my chairman actually he has been very passionate about if he had come and then if he had shared, you would have seen how passionately he would have talked about MSMEs. And Anil has broadly touched about, we have given recommendations earlier through the 5G, also how to deploy 5G, and then inter-ministerial group should be set up, and then there is a specific recommendation for MSME sector, how to go about it. That was our special effort on that, how to go about the MSMEs. In addition to that, now we are working on a consultation paper where the digital inclusion should happen, in which the major focus will be on MSMEs. There is a separate consultation paper which is going to come, which will try to cover, and how to go about and then making them sustainable. As you all know that, the connected world, then I was sharing with Mr. Sanjay when I was sitting for a coffee here, that few thoughts also I will try to share about how to democratize the e-commerce and then giving the market access to the MSMEs. So there is about the telecom part of it, one thing is there, where we are taking efforts on that. How to actually bring the small MSMEs across India, whether it is 7 crore, 12 crore, whatever it is, all the 12 crore, how to bring them. First and foremost thing is, any MSME should have actually access to the market. If I am producing a small amount or whatever amount, if I am able to sell it, I will have a sustainability. I am able to sell it continuously, I will be able to sustain continuously. So how to bring me to e-commerce platform? There are many giants are there, many giant platforms are there. But most of you may not be fully aware of how capable of a new initiative taken by the government of India. I'm just slightly digressing from what TRI initiatives have taken. I will come back to what TRI initiatives further to be taken in that regard. So how to do that is, if you have a small app actually, if you say that for a Paytm or any other wallet is there, in that wallet you can buy certain things which are, the sellers are on that application platform. But you have n number of such applications are there. But the MSMEs are there in nook and corner of the country. And they are not visible. Their access is not visible, or they are not accessible to so many buyers across the country. See how to bring them. That is where called in the government of India last year, it's more than a year, the ONDC, Open Network Digital Commerce Platform, has been developed. You may not be aware, if you see the potential of ONDC, how the ONDC is going to transform in general and all the platform. Idea is to bring each and every MSME and every small vendor across India onto the e-commerce platform through any and every application, every wallet or application, so through a simple application and the interface, so that you will be able to democratize across India all the MSMEs and all the small players to be on the e-commerce platform, to be available for the market access for their sustainable development. So this requires three things. This requires three things from the telecom and the connectivity point of view, technology point of view. One is that if they have to come onto the platform, means they should have a connectivity. One is the connectivity part of it. And they should, second point is that they should have a small device, either smart device or anything. And there are some IoT devices. And then the skill set, digital skill set required. These are the three things required for the any MSME to be able to come on the digital e-commerce platform. So now TRI is working on how to provide them these three. From the technical perspective, how to provide them these three aspects. That is the how to impart them the digital skill, able to use the technology and then optimize their productivity, whether it is 4G or 5G. So 5G is still in the offing, but even with the 4G itself, they can do quite a lot of things, provided they have a good connectivity. Whether it is 4G or it is a fiber connectivity. Preferably, they all should have a fiber. Preferably, I am underlining this here. Preferably, every MSME should have ideally speaking, they should have a fiber to their MSME sector. So that is where the small ISPs can come into picture. Not necessarily all the 5G, 4G is required. If you have a fiber to a home or within the premises, you can deploy a number of cost-effective technologies, whether through the IoTs, etc. So this is going to be very, very transformational. So our idea is to provide a fiber or to the fiber-like high-speed connectivity to the MSMEs. So this is one thing. So TRI is now working on how to provide these three: connectivity, device, and the digital skill set, so that they will be in the sustainable condition in the future going forward. So this is about that. So ONDC to bring them, Government of India on one hand, they are taking the steps to bring on ONDC platform. Now I am happy to see some of the students here. So we have started I have heard the discussion that it's a yagn hai. There is a yagn you are doing here, MSME yagn. So that how the mission of MSME to educate them, digital skill part, and then some people were commenting that even Anil has told about some of the family members have got I may be only having a development, but my children do have certain skills. That is one thing. Then I just share some few thoughts on this, how we can, going forward, we can utilize the youth of the college students, etc. Is that maybe we'll be discussing in the consultation paper will be coming out. That is one thing I am going off the hand and then telling that. When I visited Amrita University in Kerala, when I was one of the guest speakers like this, they invited me. I just suggested the students that every college should have a project work wherein the MSMEs, they should visit the MSMEs, and then how many MSMEs they will bring on to a digital platform. This should be a simple project work. It doesn't cost anything. You need not have to go too far. 10 kilometers premises, you can visit and then bring them onto, it's a simple project. Every college should have a project. So when we discuss through the forums, now we should engage the student community and the academic community, and then what we should do is that the youth have already the knowledge and the potential, and then through them connect these MSMEs. That is one key aspect which we can definitely do. They have at least, when I had discussed with them afterwards, those students, when I used to be in touch with them, they have at least connected 250 people around, they have gone and then one college. So you just imagine all the universities across India or the college, engineering colleges, you just touch base them. And that is going to be very transformational. You may not believe the potential of that. And then if you touch base them, so we need to innovate and then see how we can connect the MSME on ground. We should not keep on talking about the policies, programs. There are some solutions on ground, how to approach and then access to the MSMEs, bring them onto the platform. So this is the one thing which we can do. That is why when I saw some students here, I was very happy. We can think about that doing, and then we are going to, and then the Government of India and the TRA, we are working for the definitely multiple players. Our idea is to have the competition, and then idea is to provide the affordable service. And India is one of the lowest data and then the telecom service charges as far as the charges are concerned. And then if you just see this, it has to sustain. And there should be, the whole ecosystem should be partners in this. And we work towards that, and then whatever there. And as Anil already invited you, to 25th we are going to have a seminar at Royal Plaza. I would request all of your support and then bring the people. These kind of ideas, how to engage the students and how to engage all of them, to connect the MSMEs and to take them forward them, that is one thing. And then followed by that, Anil is going to organize a series of MSME related seminars and workshops across India. My colleague Mr. Munisekar is there here. He is incidentally Director General of NITPRIT. He is simply sitting